Hey Sun, I'm Daisy Viktoria. Today we are going to be making an ancient Greek outfit. This time we're doing menswear.
Hi, my name is Septimus. I'm part of the SCA and I'm Greek.
Septimus has a persona which is from about 500 to 300 BC from the island of Crete, which I'm already dressed as a Cretan Minoan woman, but I'm from a little bit earlier. Hold for plane.
Un momento airplano.
So Septimus has a style that he likes to wear of the Greek chiton. Now in this time period, pretty much the Greeks are wearing rectangles. So all the different styles of Greek clothing are different ways of draping rectangles. So good news is it's easy to pattern. It's all rectangles. So you just kind of get creative with how they're draped. So what we're gonna do for him is basically kind of like your standard basic Greek chiton. So he's wearing something very similar to it, and we're going to use that to kind of show you what we're going for. So we have a rectangle in front and a rectangle in the back. So basically what you're going to do to figure out the sizing of this is measure across. So we can see here we've gone across further than his actual shoulders because we want to have a little bit of sleeve, but you don't have to. You can make it all the way into the shoulder. You can also make it longer and have more of a sleeve. It's up to you. Now for us, we wanted to do something a little bit fancier. Just kind of all the features of this one. We've got it sewn together at the shoulders. This one, because it's got kind of a little sleeve here, is not sewn all the way to the edge. It can be. And we've got a neck hole for him, and see how it's draping here in the front. So if you've seen my Minoan or Mycenaean video, you may have seen we did this there as well. So what's happening is that the front rectangle is wider than the back, so it gives you a little bit of draping effect. So comfortable for the neckline. And then we also have some seams on the sides, but they don't go all the way up. So it's just holding it together. You also could do this with no seams and just hold it with a belt. That would work okay too. But it's nice if you have part of it sewn. And you can sew more or less of it too, as you prefer. So that's really what it is. And then it's belted. So to make this one, we decided Septimus needs something kind of fancy. So we want to give him something that looks really nice. So we looked at what was already in the fabric stash that might be appropriate for this. And we found something really cool. Now, if you look at a lot of the ancient Greek artwork, so like whether it's paintings on pottery, there's lots of those, other types of paintings, statues, you're gonna see a lot of garments that are very like drapey silk. Now there's also other fabrics too, like wools and linens, but we're interested in silk today because...
We're sorry.
Good one.
See what I did.
This is a vintage sari that is going to be great for that drapey, lightweight silk effect. So this is a very lightweight silk. And what's really cool about this is that it's got a little bit of patterning on it, and it's also got an edge border that we're going to use. So let's get we've got this design on it that kind of mimics some of the stamping or painting that would have been done in ancient Greece. It really kind of looks like it'll pass. So we've also got this border, and it's on both edges of the sari. Now we see a lot of borders in Greek ancient imagery as well. So this is very nice. And this has a really, really nice drape, you can see. So looking at this fabric, it looks like this will suit Septimus very well. It looks like it's very passable for a fancy ancient Greek outfit, and I think the red's gonna go really well with Septimus. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let the fabric speak to us. So one thing I like to do in designing is kind of have an idea and then let the fabric lead me to the result. So already it's great, see, because it's a rectangle and that's what their clothing was. So you can drape it and do many cool things with it this way. There's many cloaks and other things. So we could cut it off and drape him a cloak. That would be really cool. What we're gonna do with this one is we're gonna drape him a chiton. Now his chiton he has on now is a little bit longer than what this is gonna be. Let me pan down so you can see. We're just gonna let the length be what length it is. So his chiton now is very long, and it does get a little bit shorter when it's belted. So you belt it up, and then that takes up a little bit of the length. But he's got plenty of length, and this one, as is gonna be long enough too. So this is still gonna be like knee length on him. So this is gonna be the chiton, and we're just gonna cut off there. So there's gonna be two pieces, a front and a back. And then we're gonna attach them at the shoulders like that and at the sides. And that's gonna be his chiton. So it's pretty simple to actually go through making it. It's really more about the design and what we like for it. So another thing that we thought about with this is a really nice silk, and you can wear this against your skin. However, if we make him an under chiton out of linen, then he's gonna get more use out of this, because as your skin oils get into the fabric, then it's gonna degrade the fabric a little bit faster. You're also gonna have to wash it more, and that's gonna degrade it faster as well. So if you can protect the fabric, then it's gonna have a longer lifespan. So I have this linen, which is kind of a natural linen shade. And what we're gonna do is make an under chiton out of this. Now what's cool is that Septimus can wear this underneath the other chiton. He can also wear it by itself if he wants a plain chiton for any reason. He can wear it with something else, so it's kind of like a mix and match deal. But this will go well underneath, and I'll show you. We've just cut rectangles. So the two rectangles are very slightly different widths. So you can kind of see here, the narrower rectangle will be the back, and the wider one will be the front. So then when you attach them, I'm just gonna hold them at the corner so you can see, it will do a drape, and then you'll get that drapey neckline. So we've chosen to do this, so he has that extra layer right on his skin that doesn't have to be directly touching the silk. So he's got a couple of options, and it builds out his wardrobe a little bit too. Yeah, so it'll look kind of like this, and then belt it. So if you want just a very plain natural linen chiton, you can wear it as is, or you can put the silk one over it, or any other one over it as well. Cool. So that's our plan. We're gonna dress up Septimus and show you how to make a very basic Greek male chiton, which is really a basic Greek chiton for anyone, or a basic Greek anything is rectangles.
Or Mediterranean. Squares, rectangles, Mediterranean.
We love the squares and rectangles.
It's
so
easy
to make.
even a caveman can do it. Because cavemen had rectangles too.
So if you want to measure to create this type of chiton, you really just need the width and the length of the rectangle. So you want to measure across the shoulders. So if you measure in front and behind the head, sometimes it's a little bit different. So you want to make sure that you're capturing the widest part so it's wide enough. Just like that. And then if you want it to go out further, it's a good idea to measure out however far you want it to drape down on the sides. Now, if you want a full arm length, then we're gonna have our person bring out their arms. And we'll wanna measure, so you can measure the arm and you can add it on. You can also measure from here, from the middle of the neck, and half of it, or you can measure all the way across, which you might need them to help you hold it. The other thing you want, so you might want to make sure it's wide enough to go around their body. So you might want to measure chest. So usually chest might be the widest, and you want to make sure, so see if Septimus raises his arms, then it's smaller, but if he drops them, now this measurement is a little larger, and you want to make sure that you're capturing the widest that it needs to be because you want your chiton to be flowy and not too tight, right? There's probably not much chance of it being too tight if you make it really big, but just to be sure. So if you have someone with a bigger waist than chest, you want to measure their waist. So it's a good idea to capture chest and waist and make sure that whatever your across measurement is larger than half of that, right? So your full tube needs to be larger than whatever your largest measurement is, and typically by at least several inches because you want to get a nice drape. The other measurement you need is the length. So it's going to be from shoulder to however long you want it to go. And if you want to belt it, you might want to add a few inches for belting. Now there's no rule for how much to add for belting because, I mean, you can kind of see, like you could just belt it a little bit. You could make a whole pocket out of it. Yeah, so you can see we gained a few inches by unbelting. So you can measure the length in the front and or the back. You're gonna make it the same. Now, if for some reason you have a situation where you wanna make one of them longer, then certainly you can make sure you capture what is that longer measurement that you want, right? So we're making the front and back the same length, simplest way to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and make this and we're gonna check back in and you can see how it turned out. Okay, so we are checking back in with a progress update. I have sewn Septimus's chiton. This is the underneath chiton, so it's two rectangles, the front and the back. So the back rectangle is the one you can see here, and the front is gonna drape a little bit because it's wider. So what I've done sewing these together is I've matched up the shoulder seams. And then just as we saw on his existing one, I left a little bit open here and then sewed some of it together. You could also sew all the way to the end. Some of the Mycenaean outfits you'll see sewn all the way to the end, but this is more of the sort of open chiton style. And then, so when I match those up at the end, this extra in the middle here becomes like a looser neckline. And then on the side, I've left him an arm opening, so just like I do with the bag tunics. And this differs from the Mycenaean outfits that you saw. Those ones have like a sleeve that comes out, this one doesn't. So it's a little more like a bag tunic in that it needs the arm opening. And then we've got some sewn together, and this is unsewn at the bottom, so he has a little more room to move his legs. And that's it. So it's two rectangles sewn right here at the shoulders, just tacked basically, and then sewn up the sides. And then the rest is hemmed. And then this is the outer tunic cut from that silk sari, and it's exactly the same, like literally the same pattern. So you can see the front rectangle is wider than the back, so you get the drapey neckline. We are sewn here at the shoulders. You could also just tack this down a little bit or use a pin to close it, but this is just a nice sturdy style for him. And then the side, same deal. We have the arm opening and it's sewn here with some left open at the bottom. All right, so now let's go to our fancy event and put it on Septimus. Right, so here is Septimus in his linen chiton, and now we're going to put on the silk layer.